Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a Dark Arm Dragon deck profile. So I'm super excited for this one for you guys because you guys have been requesting for me to do an update of this deck since the last time I updated it. And this deck is absolutely crazy. I played around with this deck and actually can end on a board of 3 Dark Arm Dragons, a Malicious Bane, and a Beals and Boral Sword, which is absolutely crazy to me that this deck can do that much in a single turn. So, without further ado, let's get straight on this. But before we do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad. Definitely check out the Patreon and the Ko-Fi down in the description below if you guys would like to donate to the channel. And let's get straight on into this. So, first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of the original print Phantom Darkness Dark Arm Dragons, because you want to be able to play the original OG himself. So, really good card. Basically, his effect is that he can't be normal summon or set. He can only be special summoned by having exactly 3 dark monsters in your graveyard, which is extremely easy to manipulate in this deck to be able to put exactly 3 in the graveyard. This deck does a lot of discarding, does a lot of drawing, to be able to grab your Dark Arm Dragons out of your deck as soon as possible and just do some crazy things with this deck. So then we play and his other effect is that you can banish a card from your graveyard to be able to destroy a card your opponent controls, and that is not once per turn. Then we play 2 copies of Destiny Hero Malicious. I almost said 3, you heard me there, but he got limited on the last list. Not that big of a deal to us. 2 is just fine with us because we're just trying to use it with Destiny Fusion and use it to synchro summon for like Beals or Cyframe Lord Omega. It just depends on which one you're trying to go for. But basically, you banish this card from your graveyard, and then you can special summon a copy of Destiny Hero Malicious from our deck. I never really brick with this card because I have so many ways of discarding it in the deck that if I do draw it, it's like, okay, fine, I'll just discard it and then trigger its effect, banish itself, and then put 1 on the field, and it thins my deck just that much more. We play 2 copies of Vision Hero Vion. Vision Hero Vion is a really good monster in here because it has the ability that when it's normal or special summon, you get to send a hero monster from your deck to the graveyard, and you can only use its effect once per turn. It also has the ability that you can add a polymerization from your deck to your hand if you do control, or if you banish a hero monster from your graveyard, which does come in quite handy sometimes. Being able to banish that 1 hero that's in your graveyard to put this card on the field, or to add a polymerization, thins the deck and adds a little bit more utility to the deck. We play a single copy of Shadow Mist because we're always sending the Shadow Mist to graveyard off of our copy of Destiny Hero or Vision Hero Vion. It's really important to always send that one of Shadow Mist off of the copy so you can just get more value out of it and thin the deck. Because what this deck basically does is it thins the deck to the point that you're going to draw into Dark Arm Dragon because we have so many copies of draw power cards, and it just really works to be able to do that. Now, I am going to be playing a little bit more of an expensive card, but it is kind of required to go into the Evil Heroes, and I hate that I'm having to do this for you guys, but I am playing a single copy of Evil Hero Dusted Gold. Now, it is searchable, because what I usually do is I'll normal summon the Vision Hero Vion, send the copy of Shadow Mist, and then search the copy of a Dusted Gold, because then you get to discard the Dusted Gold, and once you have your Malicious in graveyard, you automatically have a copy of Destiny Hero or Evil Hero Malicious right on the field. Malicious Bane. I mean, like, it's really easy to pull off and get that Malicious Bane onto your side of the field, like, ridiculously easy. So I did play it at 1 in the deck. Then we play a single copy of Dark Grapher. Dark Grapher really helps out too because you can discard a copy of your Vision Hero Vion to the graveyard just to be able to get a little bit more value out of it, to be able to get your monsters onto the field a little bit faster and get your Destiny Hero Malicious into the graveyard a little faster as well, which just really helps out with speed up the deck. So I do play it as a 1 of in here. I do play a single copy of Armageddon Knight as well because this is like one of the only normal summons that you play in the deck. You play the Armageddon Knight and then you play the Vision Hero Vion. Those are the only ones that I really ever even normal summon. Like, I don't normal summon that much in this deck at all. I think I have like 4 normal summons in here at all. Then for the next card, I do play a single Blackwing because it is, you know, a Dark Arm Duelist deck profile, so we gotta have 1 Blackwing, I guess. And that's a single copy of Zapdos the Elite. Zapdos the Elite is extremely easy to get into the graveyard, and so you play it as a 1 of because you can return a copy of like one of your equip spells from your graveyard to your hand, and then immediately put this card on the board which is super, super nice to be able to get that one of Zaphros the Elite back on the field, and it level manipulates your graveyard to the point where you can actually put it on the field as well to be able to get more value out of your graveyard and stuff. Then we play 2 copies of Plague Spreader as well. The 2 copies of Plague Spreader super help out because if you do, I do play a Zold in here, so if you draw into one of your equip spells, you can put it back on the top of your deck and then link it away, or link into a Zold and then send it to the graveyard, which is super nice. And then this card also is a dark monster and a sync tuner monster, so you can summon it all out of your deck with like a copy of Needle Fiber or something like that extremely easily. So I do play this card as a 2 of. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, this is the spells. We play a lot of spells. The rest of the deck is nothing but spells. So we're going to be playing 3 copies of Call by the Grave. The 3 copies of Call by the Grave basically are here because we don't want to deal with hand traps because we're drawing so much in the deck. We play a single copy of Monster Reborn because you can manipulate the amount of dark monsters that are in your graveyard. 1 copy of Dark Calling. This is the card that you search all the time off of a Dusted Gold. You discard the Dusted Gold and then you summon it. We play a single copy of Polymerization because it's searchable off of our copy of Vision Hero Vion. 2 copies of Destiny Fusion. Destiny Fusion is a good card, but it can lock you into some stuff as well, because basically what it does is if you fusion summon a Dark Hero monster or Destiny Hero monster, which is Destiny Hero Dangerous, using monsters from your hand or deck as fusion material, but destroyed during the end phase of the next turn. The only thing that's bad about this card is you can only special summon Dark Hero monsters, which kind of sucks, but it works at the same time. Because you're sending the graveyard, that's totally fine because we can just go into Malicious Bane on our turn and then summon all 3 Dark Armed Dragons the following turn if we have to. I did bump this card down to 2 because I draw so much in this deck now. 2 is fine. Like, I don't need any more than 2. Then we play 2 copies of Perform Popper Up. I did bump Popper Up in this deck to 2 because you can draw so much more in this deck. Now we're getting into the draw cards that we basically play. Popper Up is really good in this deck. We play 3 copies of Dark World Dealings as well. Dark World Dealings, you basically just go 1 for 1, essentially. You draw 1, you discard 1, and this card goes to the grave. It helps with deck thinning and getting into Dark Armed Dragon and getting your dark monsters into the graveyard. We play 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. The 3 Allure of Darknesses, you basically just banish any dark monster that you don't need, like a Plague Spreader or a copy of your Shadow Mist or your second copy of, like, once you do your normal summon, none of your other warrior monsters really matter in your hand. So you're just going to banish them with Allure. Then we play 3 copies of Golden Bamboo Sword. Golden Bamboo Sword basically is here for the Bamboo Sword engine, that you can send a copy of Cursed Bamboo Sword to the graveyard and then immediately get the... I've drawn 3 of these in a single game, and then I drew like 1 monster, and then 3 of these, and then a copy of Cursed Bamboo or Broken Bamboo, and then I just drew 6, and it was like, oh, it's on now. Which is crazy. And then for the equip spells for Zold, we play 3 copies of Cursed Bamboo Sword. The Cursed Bamboo Sword, basically you can send it to the graveyard when you summon a Zold. You send 1 copy of it to the graveyard because you can't send multiple copies of it to the graveyard off of Zold, but you send 1 and it starts your entire engine, where you search like Golden Bamboo or Broken Bamboo, depends on what you don't have in your hand, because you're going to draw 1 of them. And then if it's sent to the graveyard, you get to add a Bamboo Sword from your deck to your hand, and you can equip it to a monster as well, so it kind of counts as a Broken Bamboo Sword as well, but you can return it... You can target one of their Bamboo Sword card you control and return to the hand. If you do, the equipped monster can attack your opponent directly. So that's really cool to be able to let your Dark Armed Dragon or Malicious Bane or something attack your opponent directly, which is really good. But I usually don't do that. I usually just use it as a material to, like, I'll equip it to like an Armageddon Knight before I'm going to actually like search, before I'm going to link into like a Zold, and I'll link it away, and then this will touch the graveyard, and I'll get to add a Broken Bamboo Sword or a Golden Bamboo Sword from deck to hand. For the other equip spells, we're playing a single copy of Broken Bamboo Sword. The Broken Bamboo Sword comes in really handy as well because it's another name equip spell. Living Fossil, because it can help you manipulate the amount of darks in your graveyard, and it's an Zold target. DDR comes in handy too because you can banish something off of Dark Armed Dragon, like Plague Spreader or something, and then immediately bring it back, which is really cool. And then a single copy of Sword of Deep Seated. Now you can change this out if you want to for the other one that looks like different dimensional barrier or different dimension reincarnation. There's one other one, I think it's like Overdone Burial or something like that. You can change it out for that if you feel like you want to revive more stuff. But I've wanted this card because you can put it back on top of your deck. So you don't mill yourself out, because usually on turn 2 or 3, like if I get to turn 2, or if I Destiny Fusion first turn and then I go into the next turn, I'm going to go down to like 4 or 5 cards in my deck because I'm drawing so fast and searching so fast to get to my Dark Arms as quickly as possible. So that's it for the spells, guys, and the main deck. We don't play any traps in here at all. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're playing a single copy of Beels of the Diabolic Dragons. This card is just kind of like a throwback to one of my favorite cards of all time. I love Beels in this deck. It's super fun to be able to play Beels in this deck because basically it can be destroyed by battle or by card effects, which is super cool. And you basically just be able to gain life points for every time you lose life points, or not gain life points, but it gains attack every time you lose life points, which is super cool. Cyframe Lord Omega, because you can rip cards out of your opponent's hand, and if you're already destroying their field, like this card can come in super handy. One copy of Destiny Hero Dangerous. Destiny Hero Dangerous is really good because you use it to summon Destiny Hero to go into your copy with either polymerization, or you go into it with your copy of Destiny Fusion. I like to go into it with Destiny or with polymerization because it doesn't lock me down if I draw into the cards that I need to, because you can just fusion summon a Destiny Hero Malicious into it, and then any other dark monster that's in your hand, you can summon this card, and then you can discard a card and then send a Destiny Hero monster from your deck to the graveyard, which is nice. I don't really use that effect all that much. I just want it on the field for a level 6 monster and to help me get cards out of the deck. And then a single copy of Evil Hero Malicious Bane. The Malicious Bane comes in super handy because, I'm serious, you can seriously in this deck summon 3 Dark-Armed Dragons, this, and a Beels in one turn, and it's crazy. It is absurd and crazy that deck can do this. And it's just absolutely crazy, and your opponent can't handle it. Like, they literally, like, you summon 3 Dark-Armed Dragons, are you really going to fight me? Like, really? I don't think so. Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, you can go into this with polymerization. They have to be monsters on the field, but you can go into this card with polymerization, so I play it as a one of. Boral Sword, because you can OTK your opponent and it's not too hard to go into this card. Nightmare Unicorn, because sometimes I really want to link into a Link 3, so I put this on the field, and it's just super easy, and it's a dark monster, so I can banish it from the graveyard for Dark-Armed Dragon. Extra Hero Cross Crusader, because you can summon it super easy in the deck, and it's kind of like Hero Engine in the deck. 2 copies of Isolde. Isolde is the MVP and the reason the deck works, because you use the equip spells to summon something like a copy of Vion, and then Vion triggers and sends Shadow Mist. Shadow Mist searches Evil Hero. Evil Hero discards, adds the copy of Dark Calling, and then you're already almost there, and then you can add a hero, or you can add a warrior from deck to hand that you can then use to discard for another card effect, like Dark World Dealings. 1 copy of Crystron Needle Fiber. The Crystron Link monster is really nice because you can use Plague Spreader to go into it if you want to. I thought about putting a Super Poly engine in here, but I really wanted the Call by the Graves in here, so you can kind of change those out if you want to. So you can drop this out for Verte Anaconda if you want to put in Verte Anaconda, and then put in Starving Venom and Mud Dragon. You can definitely drop some cards in the extra deck to be able to do that. I didn't, but you can. Wee Witch really helps out because all your monsters are pretty much dark, so why not Wee Witch? Dark-Armed Dragon, or Dark-Armed the Dragon of Annihilation. Just for style points, we play the Dark-Armed the Dragon of Annihilation. If you have exactly 5 dark monsters in the graveyard, you can XYZ summon this card on top of a level 5 or higher dark dragon monster, which I do sometimes just because I can. And it happens. It really does. Where I summon Boral Sword and I'll have 5 in the graveyard because I'll link away 2 in Isolde and I'll have 3 Dark Arms on the field. And I'm like, let me just lay this down real quick just because it's funny. 1 copy of Baguska because you can make Baguska install out if you need to. It doesn't come up often that you need to, but you can. And then 1 copy of number 60. 60 comes up more than Baguska because I'm trying to draw so fast in this deck. So I'll play this card and then draw 2 or double the attack of like Beels or my Dark Arm just for style points, which is really funny. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. This deck is crazy fun to play with. It is sometimes a little fragile. That's why I really don't want to drop the Call by the Graves and go to more of a Super Poly engine, because it's really, really good, but at moments it's just like, man, it just, you stop me right there. And then you got to recover the next turn, which, I mean, you have plenty of ways to recover. So, anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad. Definitely check out the Patreon and the Ko-Fi down in the description below so you guys can donate to the channel. And I am super excited to show you guys this deck again. But definitely tell me what you think about it in the description. And if you guys want to see some test hands of it, I'm kind of playing around with the idea of doing some test hand videos. Let me know what you guys want to see. But I would love to show you guys some test hands where I can kind of show you those crazy fields that I actually make with this deck, because they are absolutely absurd. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe again. Hit that bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.